Welcome, welcome. I'm Andryanna. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Juggle is Real podcast. I've been sharing a lot and laughing a lot and joking about how I am now in my weighted vest era. And it has been a topic that has been really popular with so many of you. So I thought that I could share not just about the weighted vest, but three ways that I'm focusing on my well being now that I am 40 years old. And so, in this episode, turning 40 wasn't that big of a deal for me. But now that I am 40 and in this next chapter, my perspective has shifted a little bit. And I am especially tuning into my health and well being in a new way, in my 20s and my 30s. Some of these things we take for granted, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but a lot of the focus was on looking a certain way in my 20s. And then in my 30s, a lot of it was related to pregnancies and having babies and my children. And a lot of the health related concerns I had was related to burnout, as I've shared so much in this podcast. Now that I'm 40, I am looking ahead and I want to be proactive and I want to look at ways that I can easily incorporate, better routines and maintain my physical and my mental health in ways that I can actually work into my schedule. And as I'm recording this, we're going to pick up the kids. We've got hockey. I'm literally boiling pasta on the stove. So there's going to be some cuts. I'm going to edit out the parts where I get up to stir the pot, literally. But I really wanted to share this because I think it's important that, in this very busy season of life, as we're juggling so many things, that we are still tuning in, focusing on ourselves and making sure that we're doing those things and taking those necessary steps to make sure that we're not in a predicament later on with our health. So if that sounds good to you, I'm going to share three things that I have been easily focusing on my well-being now that I'm in my 40s. And we're going to look at a little bit of research and some of the findings and some of the reasons why I'm doing it. So let's dive right in. Hey, I'm Andryanna, and this is the Juggle is Real podcast. As I share my ongoing journey from experiencing burnout to leading a more mindful and intentional life with better balance, I hope you feel seen, that you realize your worth, lighten your load, and prioritize your own needs. As we hear from leading experts and well-known faces in the wellness, entrepreneurship, education, and motherhood space, I hope you gain insights, proven practices, and learn actionable tools to help you enjoy the juggle of work, family, and everything in between with a little less stress and a lot more ease, joy, and fun. Most of all, I hope you find what you need to simplify, streamline, and supercharge your own journey of better balance and self-love. Are you with me? Let's get started. Okay, so the three ways that I am focusing on my well-being is really through making the most out of my movement, hydration, and protein intake for my nutrition. And then the third part is really just trying to be proactive and taking control of my well-being. So when we talk about movement, and I joke that I am now in my weighted vest era, movement has always been really, really important and really key to my well-being. And I have, tried all sorts of different things. I've been to spin classes. I have had gym memberships. I've done literally all the things from boxing classes to yoga nidra and, extreme things and very gentle things. And right now, where I am in my life, I don't have a lot of extended windows for movement. And so what I found has been helpful for me is taking the small pockets that I can carve out and just making the most out of that. So one of the things that I've been doing is wearing a weighted vest. And so literally I just put it on for when I'm going for a walk with my dog, who is an elderly dude. He doesn't walk very fast. Sometimes I put him in a stroller so that he can walk longer distances and come with me. So I use it for my small pockets of walks, 20 to 30 minutes a day. And then around the house, if I'm making lunches or making dinner, emptying the dishwasher, those sorts of things. And I have heard, from many different sources and looked into, wearing the weighted vest. I started seeing it online. Some people that have been making it more popular. I saw, the girls, Kat and Nat, well, Kat, not Nat, Kat wearing one. Also, Dr. Mary Claire Haver. So wearing a weighted vest, well, obviously it's going to increase the intensity of walking or running if you're a runner or those daily activities. And so that's going to improve your cardiovascular health. It also helps to improve your bone density and your overall strength, right? Because if you can imagine, slapping on carrying 12 pounds around with you, that's just exerting your body a little bit more. And so Dr. Mary Claire Haver emphasizes that women, we lose muscle mass as we age. And so using resistance training, weightlifting is going to be more important. Using a weighted vest can help maintain your muscle mass and can help combat things like osteoporosis. So, that sounds good to me, right? This is a proactive approach. The weighted vest can also improve posture and balance. It helps you to, really focus on that core and can help with that muscle mass. So again, also very important for women as we age. And it's been something that I've been sharing about on social media and, posting about on Instagram. So of course, I will include a link in the notes for this podcast episode to share if you want to take a look at that. Now, apparently the best way to gauge what might work for you is to take about 10% of your ideal body weight. And so I've seen, and I'm not saying this is good, but if you wanted to start out at a lower weight, I've seen 8-pound vests. I have a 12-pound vest. I've also seen 16-pound, 20-pound. So depending on what you're looking for, depending on, what it is that you're going to be using it for, maybe try the weighted vest, or maybe look at ways that you can really make the most out of the time that you have for the movement that you have. One thing that I have been learning about as well, is, not only the benefits of weight training, but really looking at strength as the goal. And I was recently really struck by something that was shared that was like, women, a lot of times as we age, our hormones are changing and shifting. And we're noticing more of that belly fat, that visceral fat around our abdomen, around our tummies. And that, we don't love it. But something that helped shift my perspective was like, when we are in excess. So if we have too many calories, or if there's toxins, or if there's harmful things in our body is so smart. Our body is so incredible and so beautiful that it knows, okay, we don't want this excess to be close to our vital organs. We don't want it around our heart. We don't want it around our spleen, or these places that could be really detrimental. So the place that often this excess goes to is around our abdomen, or is sometimes in our chest for women, is in our booty, in our thighs, the back of our arms, these places that maybe we don't love to look at, but is protecting us. And so this is our body's way of keeping us alive, keeping us healthier as we go through these changes. And so the movement piece is really key. And it's something that instead of focusing on, oh, I want to be thin or I want to lose weight, it's not a goal for me anymore. It's now, how can I be strong? How can I maintain the muscle that I have? How can I build muscle? How can I be strong in this body, prevent injuries from occurring, and continue, the movement and the capabilities that I have right now. So that is the one thing that I'm doing that's been a small shift in my movement routine that has been really beneficial in my weighted vest era. The second thing that I've been looking at is, sort of in that nutrition, that nourish pillar that I look at with the Juggle is Real Authentic Self-Care Planner. How are some ways that I can be really effective in how I'm fueling my body? So there's two things that I've been looking at. Again, we're busy. There's lots on the go. Two things that I've been trying to do is focus on my hydration, not only just drinking more water, but how can I drink water with additional benefits with electrolytes, right? Additional sodium, with trace minerals, with collagen. There's additional benefits that show electrolytes can help with actually hydrating your body, so you're not literally just peeing it out, or actually expelling good minerals as you are drinking lots of water. But it also helps with your muscle function, also helps with reducing fatigue. And so adding those electrolytes in a good source of electrolyte, not something that has a ton of sugar or food coloring or that sort of thing, as well as a collagen powder that supports the joint health. It supports skin elasticity. It supports just overall vitality, especially as we age. So it's easy for me. So I wake up in the morning. I love my coffee. I need my coffee in the morning. That is something that I will not go without. I pre-program it the night before, so it's ready when I wake up in the morning. But I also ensure that I'm drinking water before I have my coffee. And then after I have my coffee, I make sure that I'm filling up a very large water bottle that has the electrolyte powder, the collagen powder in it. Sometimes I put in a squeeze of lemon. Sometimes I'm literally shaking some of that Himalayan sea salt directly into it, because it's so easy to, it makes me want to drink it, tastes better, tastes like something. And in my busy schedule, I can easily bring that along with me, and I'm making sure that I'm filling that up. Second thing that I'm doing is I'm a little bit more focused on my protein intake. I'm trying to increase the protein that I'm eating with every meal, because it is so important, especially for women. Protein aids in muscle recovery. It supports your bone health. Again, it boosts your metabolism. It also helps women maintain that lean muscle mass, and the muscle mass is decreasing with age, right? So now that I'm 40, I'm like, okay, I want to make sure that I'm maintaining as much as I possibly can. So I'm doing things like, with my meals, making sure with breakfast that there's some sort of a protein in there, adding more seeds, more nuts in my meals. By making a salad for lunch, I'm throwing in, pumpkin seeds. I'm adding whatever leftover food we had the night before, whether it's chicken or fish or shrimp or like ground beef, like Taco Tuesday, throw that into my salad on Wednesday. Eggs, Greek yogurt, having a smoothie that has protein in it. Those sorts of things is just more of a focus now for me. So in the past, where I would be looking at, like how much fat or how many calories, or, looking at ways to lose weight, now that's not a focus for me. It's how can I fuel my body to make sure that I can be strong, that I can really, have the energy that I need, and how can I maintain the muscle that I have. So that protein has been really important for me. There's so much research that supports this. And so you can definitely look into that. And I should also say, should have thrown this disclaimer at the very beginning, but me, myself, I am not an expert. I'm not a doctor. I'm sharing this with you because this has been helpful for me. I have done some research. Definitely visit a healthcare provider. Definitely go get your own research, get your own findings, or get the advice that you need that's going to support you. We're all different. We all have unique needs. And I'm just sharing ways that I can easily incorporate what has been working for me into my busy schedule. And this will lead us into the third and final point of the ways that now that I'm in my 40s, I am focusing on my well-being. And that's really trying to be proactive with it, right? Like, I think sometimes, in younger years, in your 20s, in your 30s, you can sort of take your health for granted in a way. As you turn 40, as you begin to age, now you're thinking more ahead. I have three beautiful boys. I want to make sure that I'm here to see them for, graduating and getting married and being a grandma and doing all those things. These are things that are now like popping in my head that were never, I never thought of those things before, right? So being proactive really means that I have to do things now to make sure that my well-being is a focus in the future, that I don't have to worry about, ailments, because I'm worrying about it now, and not necessarily worrying, but I'm making it a priority. I'm focusing on my health now so that I don't have to worry about it later. And so I'll share with you, and this is kind of a funny story, but this episode is going to make me accountable. So make sure you check in with me after. When I turned 40, I booked a doctor's appointment. It was great. I had a physical done. I had my PAP and we did screenings. And I asked my doctor for blood work, blood work requisition form, just to make sure that we could look at, if there have been any changes or, again, trying to be proactive. Also, and I'm not sure what the requirements are in different areas, but in Canada now, you can go for a mammogram breast screening as early as age 40. And things might be different depending on your family's history with breast cancer, with cancer. But as of age 40 now, you can go for breast screening. And so I got my requisition for a mammogram as well as for blood work. And now I will share that was in the beginning of June when I had this appointment. And I still have those two rec forms in the bottom of my purse. They're probably like filled with like gum and old dirty pennies and whatever. But this episode, after this episode, I'm going to book the blood work and my mammogram. The importance of these things and being proactive. I mean, I can't stress it enough. You never know. And I just recently read the most beautiful book by Sophie Kinsella. And I mean, I was crying through the entire book. It's not that long. But essentially, this is a autobiographical book about how she was diagnosed with an incurable form of cancer. And it goes into, her story and the year after. And honestly, she has 5 children and she is battling this rare form of cancer that is incurable. And it's such a beautiful reminder to not only be grateful for what you have now, the health that you have, the well-being that you have, but also to look ahead, to take those proper precautions, to be proactive in your health and to take the approach of, making these small changes now and making yourself a priority now so that you can be there for your family in the future. And this book doesn't share it. It was nothing that was her fault. It was nothing that there's nothing that she could have done. But, I think it just really, for me, was the message of like, well, are there things that you can do now that maybe there's going to be some rare something or other, but can you make the changes that you need to now to do your best to maintain your health and well-being? And with that, I will also share that your mental health also plays such a huge role in that overall well-being. So are there ways that you can be proactive in your own health journey? Whether it's movement, whether it's nutrition, whether it's those self-care practices that you can really nurture yourself and be mindful and create those moments, even if they are very, very small ways. How can you prioritize yourself in your life where you are right now in easy ways, like wearing a weighted vest while you empty your dishwasher, like drinking a little bit more water, like going to bed earlier, like doing breast screening? What can you do to make sure that you are putting yourself at the top of your to-do list in very small and easy ways? So this is where I will close things. This is where we will end our episode for today. But really looking to our movement, looking to our nutrition, looking to that proactive health approach. And really in these ways, we can find better balance because we want to look at things that are practical and really approachable and super doable. I mean, I've been, chatting with friends and I know we are in such a busy season in our life. I mean, I was just chatting with a fellow hockey mom. She was telling me how she's been waking up at 5 a.m. every morning, and it's not for, meditation or for exercise. It's to fold laundry and it's to make sure that the house is somewhat tidy before she leaves for her busy day of work, and then gets her 3 children who are all in competitive hockey to the places and the arenas and the practices that they need to get to. And I've spoken to people who are, long distance runners who can't find the time for, like an hour a run every day. And so they're looking for ways to, shift their movement and their goals and to find ways that are going to work right now here in the season that we're in. So if you can find 20 minutes on your lunch, grab those 20 minutes. If you can, practice some mindfulness before bed, even if it's not grabbing your journal, even if it's not, having that full blown practice, can you think of three things you're grateful for before you drift off to bed every night or when you wake up in the morning? So I know that you have great intentions, and it's really just about being intentional about how we fit it in and making yourself a priority so that you can be here in your best light for everyone around you, for your family, for your friends, your colleagues, the people who need you most. And above all, so that you can feel good and feel well in your body today. So I thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you being here. If you're new to the Juggle is Real, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you are an OG, I love that you're kicking it, and I really, really appreciate it. Share this with a friend, someone maybe who's turning 40 or in their 40s or onward, who's looking to prioritize their well-being in easy ways. If you could rate this episode, write me a short and sweet review in Apple Podcasts. It would mean the world to me. And make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you come back. We've got so many amazing episodes to tune into. And until the next episode, take good care.